As the most prominent figure in the African Church and the most beloved candidate for Pope, conservative Ghanaian Bishop Peter Turken occupies a prominent position. One of the most distinctive and influential figures in Catholicism today is Cardinal Peter Cadwell Apia Turken. At the present time, he ranks among the most prominent African leaders within the Roman Catholic Church. His staunch religious conservatism and unwavering dedication to social justice have brought him widespread renown. With Francis's resignation as Pope, conversations regarding the Church's future have heated up, and Turken's name has been bandied about frequently as a potential Pope candidate. Wassa and Suda, two coastal towns in western Ghana, are the places Turken was born on October 11, 1948. His upbringing was characterized by a strict religious upbringing in a modest home. His family had a strong Catholic faith, and he was the fourth child out of 10. In addition to being a trader, his dad was a builder. They were both devout Catholics. It was clear that Turken had great potential academically and spiritually from an early age, and these qualities would influence his ministry. His upbringing and beliefs led him naturally to a life of Christian service. There was no coincidence or coercion involved. Cardinal Peter Turken is well known as a prominent religious figure and a representation of the future of Catholicism. This is because, even in this modern day, the worldwide Catholic Church is undergoing transformation as it strives to unite its vast and diverse membership, overcome cultural differences, and meet new challenges. Turken came from humble religious beginnings in a small Ghanaian town. Many people in the global south can relate to his life story because it is shaped by religion, strength, hardship, and the search for justice. As the Catholic Church expands in Latin America, Africa, and Asia, his ascent to the highest echelons of Roman Catholic leadership exemplifies this global trend. In recent decades, the Catholic Church has grown primarily in Africa rather than in Europe or North America. Particularly in sub-Saharan Africa, the Catholic population has expanded at a dizzying rate. Reason being, the Church has seen an influx of millions of new members, many of whom are young, full of life, and deeply committed to their faith. Among the most articulate and astute proponents of this shift, Peter Turken stands out in this regard. Being steady, modest, and confident in his beliefs has helped him rise through the ranks of the Church. While some climb the Church ladder by associating with powerful politicians or administrators, Turken has risen through the ranks by selflessly serving others. From his time spent serving in parishes and dioceses to his time spent fixing problems and speaking the truth to influential people all over the globe, he has never wavered from his commitment to the Church's mission. His ability to unite traditionally antagonistic regions is one of his strongest suits. For instance, despite his strict religious beliefs, he advocates for economic justice, climate responsibility, the rights of the poor and migrants, and other causes. Though he pays homage to the past, Turken is acutely conscious of the pressing issues of the present and the future. Now that the Catholic Church is facing more serious divisions, such as between reformers and traditionalists, between clergy and laypeople, and between the northern and southern hemispheres, Turken plays a role in bringing everyone together. Regardless of the difficulty, he never compromises on the value of human life or the common good. He exemplifies virtue and compassion. At the core of Pope Francis's plan to change things was he as head of the Vatican's dicastery for promoting integral human development. By speaking out against climate change, addressing global inequality, and engaging with international organizations, Turken gave the Church a platform where moral clarity isn't always present. He used the fact that the Church's mission extends beyond its physical location to include helping those in need in the streets as an example. As a result, it's clear that believing and doing are inseparable. Among his most significant accomplishments is his conviction that Africa can provide the global Church with valuable lessons in moral and spiritual leadership in addition to serving as a mission field. Turken has used his writings, speeches, and other platforms to spread the message that Africa is characterized by values that are sorely absent in our modern world: faith, family, and community. Peter Turken's election as Pope would mark a watershed moment in Christian history. It would show that the Church is moving toward a more equitable and accepting philosophy. Many African Catholics would find encouragement in this vote, which would demonstrate that Catholicism is universal. Instead of merely offering moral support, Turken's leadership could demonstrate to the Church the importance of being truthful, patient, and faithful when facing adversity. As Pope, your origins are irrelevant. What counts is your ability to progress. Turken has the makings of a courageous and wise shepherd who guides the church because of his wit, attentiveness, and clarity of speech when interacting with the outside world. Life today is tough, and he knows love and justice in the here and now must transform tradition, which he values. He knows Cardinal Turken will be remembered long after his ascension to the popedom ends. Because of him, the church can now have leaders from all walks of life. Through his efforts, African perspectives on religion, culture, and politics have been amplified. He has shown the world and the church that they should prioritize helping the less fortunate, protecting the environment, and each other. The core principles of Catholic social teaching, humanity, subsidiarity, unity, and prioritizing the poor are exemplified by Turken. He exemplifies the strength and compassion, tradition and modernity, global reach and solid ground of the Church in his life. Amidst a world rife with injustice, conflict, and uncertainty, the Church must consider the kind of direction it requires. Perhaps it requires a leader who has been there and knows what it's like to maintain harmony, stand up for fairness, and defend moral principles. Peter Turken, a boss who is hard-working, courageous, and genuinely kind, might be necessary. While the future remains uncertain, Cardinal Turken exemplifies the ideal church, one that is loving, global, and dedicated to carrying out Christ's work on earth. Knowing what is right and wrong is crucial in this day and age. People with his level of expertise and insight are vital. After beginning his education in Ghanaian schools, Turken attended some of the world's top universities. He taught from the Bible and shepherded the people. He attended the seminaries in Pedu and Amazon, specifically St. Peter's Regional Seminary and St. Teresa's Seminary. He earned a PhD in sacred scripture from Rome's Pontifical Biblical Institute, thanks to his extensive knowledge of theology and the Bible. He then continued his education in the U.S. at Franciscan University of Steubenville. For quite some time, Turken has been renowned for his exceptional blend of profound academic knowledge and profound spiritual experience. His fluency in 7 languages, English, Fante, his native tongue, Italian, French, German, and Hebrew, makes him an asset to the Catholic Church around the world. Turken became well known for his modesty, friendliness, and firmness after being ordained as a priest in 1960. Spiritual care and community involvement were evident early on in his life. He placed a premium on education, social progress, and interfaith dialogue in his role as a priest in Ghana, a country where Christianity coexists with Islam and indigenous African religion. John Paul II, the Pope, appointed him Archbishop of Cape Coast in 1992. Cape Coast is a historically significant region in Ghana and a sanctuary for the faith, with approximately 300,000 faithful Catholics. During his time in Cape Coast, he emphasized the importance of education, spiritual purity, and community cooperation. Frequently collaborating with influential religious and social figures, he advocated for these principles. During a potentially explosive presidential race in Ghana, Turken had a life-changing experience. Tensions ran high across the nation, and Turken entered the discourse, not as a politician but as a potential mediator. Calm down, use logic, and play by the rules of politics. That was his tone. His ability to mediate tense situations and bring people together made him a hero to Christians, Muslims, and government officials alike, an indication of Catholicism in Africa. In 2003, Pope John Paul II made Turken the first person from Ghana and West Africa to ever be named a cardinal, marking a significant milestone in church history. African Catholicism has flourished in recent decades, and his choice was a major boost to that growth. It was a personal triumph for Turken to be elected cardinal, but it was also evidence of the growing importance and vitality of the African Church. Turken gained international fame rapidly after being named a cardinal. Across the entire continent, his voice resounded. He was a speaker and participant at international conferences. On behalf of the Vatican, he delivered addresses on issues such as social justice, economic inequality, and peacemaking. He is unafraid to voice his opinions on matters of global significance, such as the leadership of the Vatican, human development, justice, and peace, because he has strong principles and beliefs. The Pontifical Council for Justice and Peace was established in 2009 under Turken's leadership by Pope Benedict XVI. His fame grew exponentially as a result of this. Economic justice, global inequality, and the Church's stance on human rights issues were topics of discussion during his tenure as Pope at the Vatican. His guidance resulted in seminal works on worker rights, globalization's morality and financial markets ethics. He was unafraid to challenge long-standing institutions and frequently voiced his opposition to pervasive economic inequality. Despite his training as a moral theologian, Turken has been the subject of both admiration and criticism for the way he combines conservative religious views with progressive views on economics and society. After much deliberation, Pope Francis appointed him to head the dicastery for promoting integral human development in 2016. This office consolidated many divisions that dealt with environmental, healthcare, migration, charity and justice issues. The goal was to bring the church in line with Pope Francis's vision of a church that combats climate change and economic inequality while also welcoming and aiding the downtrodden. Turken showed his true colors at international conferences, such as the Climate Summit and the Davos World Economic Forum. He frequently argued that wealthy nations should stand up against climate injustice and back sustainable development in developing nations. Although he is based in Rome, Turken has maintained close relationships with Africa. He is a tireless advocate for African issues on a global scale, frequently questioning Western perspectives on religion, culture and development. He has emphasized the need of investing more in local employment, healthcare, and education as a means to halt the brain drain from Africa and create sustainable community. Others respect his ability to strike a balance between tradition and social responsibility, even though they disagree with his stances on LGBTQ rights and gender equality. With Pope Francis's advancing years, he is frequently brought up in discussions about potential successors to the Pope. Electing Turken as Pope would break a record that has stood for over 1,500 years. If this happened, the Church's power structure would shift from Europe to Africa. Because of his extensive leadership experience, global fame, and profound spiritual life, Turken is an excellent candidate for Pope. His theological consistency and profound concern for social justice have earned him the support of both conservative and liberal segments of the Church. His compassionate nature and reliability have earned him the respect of both his fellow clergy and the general public. Be that as it may, there are many moving parts involved in becoming Pope. Ideas, international relations, and the Holy Spirit's will are all areas where people disagree. The future looks bright for Cardinal Peter Turken, who embodies the best of both worlds, tradition and innovation. His faithful, courageous, and powerful African Church is what he represents. Justice, peace, and the inherent value of every person, the cornerstones of Christian ethics, are evident in his work. No matter what happens with his candidacy for Pope, Turken will have left an indelible mark on Catholicism. He has empowered African Catholics and altered the Vatican's approach to the contemporary world. Leadership, as his life demonstrates, is about more than just wearing a hat and a tie. Standing up for those who are unable to do so requires selflessness, courage, and inner strength. In an unprecedented election that deviates from the norm and from popular expectation, Cardinal Peter Turken, a modest, intelligent and futuristic leader, may succeed John Paul II as head of the Catholic Church. Aside from his public speeches and church postings, Cardinal Peter Turken is remembered for his commitment to social justice, human rights, and empowering marginalized communities, particularly in Africa. His life exemplifies a man who fearlessly tackled global issues while remaining committed to the traditional values of the Catholic Church. The significance of the Church's continued relevance in light of issues such as migration, poverty, climate change, and the widening gap between the northern and southern hemispheres has been brought to light by his writings. Pope Francis has envisioned a church that is concerned about the world's problems rather than focusing inward, and Turken's work at the Vatican has been crucial in making this vision a reality. In his role as director of the dicastery for promoting integral human development, he has done tremendous work to defend the rights of marginalized peoples, including refugees and the impoverished. His writings demonstrate how the Church fulfills its mission to be a sign of hope in a fallen world. Establishing a link between faith and action is something he strives for diligently. While Turken's fame extends far beyond the African Catholic context, his influence is particularly profound there. The rapid expansion of the African Church over the past few decades has led many in the wider Catholic community to view it as a formidable adversary. Turken represents this shift in perspective because of his West African background. Thanks to his leadership, the Church around the world recognizes that Africa is important for more than its population size. It is important for its faith, its dedication to social justice, and its desire to serve the common good. His knowledge of the issues confronting the global South compels him to advocate for reforms in church and society structures in response to poverty, war, and exclusion. There is a great deal of faith, knowledge and power in Africa and the rest of the global South, he has repeatedly urged the Catholic Church to acknowledge this. Through his efforts to promote equality and harmony, he has conveyed to the Church that these aspects are crucial to its destiny and mission. His leadership and intellectual stance on religion are two distinguishing features of Turk. His fluency in English, Fante Italian, French, German and Hebrew, along with his strong academic performance, allows him to communicate effectively with individuals of many different cultural backgrounds and language ability. He applied his extensive biblical knowledge to contemporary issues after attending prestigious institutions, such as the Pontifical Biblical Institute and the Franciscan University of Steubenville, in addition to local colleges. Our more empathetic and accepting stance towards societal issues is a direct result of the fresh perspectives offered by his theological writings and reflections on the Bible. With his keen intellect, he has challenged the Church to address contemporary concerns while remaining faithful to its fundamental principles. He is well known in the Vatican and among Catholics all over the globe for his compassionate nature and profound philosophical insight. Because of his expertise in both international diplomacy and church politics, Turken is an excellent candidate to guide the Catholic Church during these challenging times. To be a leader, he demonstrated, is to be able to adapt to new circumstances, not merely adhere to established norms. People of all faiths, and none admire his ability to bring diverse viewpoints together, balancing conservative religious views with progressive social concerns. His talent for mending fences and bringing people together within the Church makes him an excellent pick for Pope. We can't predict the future and church politics are murky, but Cardinal Peter Turken's influence is undeniable. His humility, intelligence, and honesty not only make him a potential future pope, but they also demonstrate the growing influence of Africa within the Catholic Church globally. His elevation to the papacy would signal a watershed moment in the Church's evolution, illuminating the growing importance of the global South in Christian belief. Even if he does not become the next pope, Turken will still shape the future of the Catholic Church. Without him, the social and moral teachings of the Church will change drastically. Those who wish to draw attention to issues such as economic inequality, climate change and the suffering of refugees will have no choice but to emulate his action. Through his writings, he has demonstrated that the Church is an integral component in finding solutions to the moral issues of our day, and not merely a building for worship. The life and teachings of Cardinal Peter Turken demonstrate how the Church can be compassionate, equitable and actively engaged in people's everyday struggles. Being a leader in the Church, he demonstrated, isn't about clinging to power or status, but about serving others, particularly the downtrodden, the homeless and the voiceless. Whether or not Turken becomes pope, he will remain a prominent figure in history. People will always be moved by his unwavering commitment to fairness, religion and the greater good.